What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorian Show. Guys, the NBA is so soft, man. I came home yesterday from an open mic, and the first thing I see online is that the Chicago Bulls waived Jaden Ivey due to detrimental conduct to the team. All the headlines seem to be saying that he was waived because of his political and religious statements. I try to look through some of it. And apparently, he's been going on some rants about, I guess they're like anti-LGBTQ statements, and also some religious stuff that people don't like or the NBA don't like. And then they waived them. I think I actually don't have really a stance on his political stuff. I just think that the NBA as a whole, sports teams as a whole, should never take a political stance because it just backfires. Like, I don't even know who Jaden Ivey was until this happened. This is the biggest news in the NBA. Like, I haven't watched the NBA in like years. I don't think about it. I don't care about it. And all of a sudden, like, I'm drawn into this. Like, this is the biggest news that they've had for like the average American, which is crazy. This is not the type of publicity you want, I guess. You know what I mean? And I think the it's also funny because the NBA has traditionally been very good at protecting the rights of their players. Um, I think I think the issue first came out. The issue first started with Kyrie Irving. Do you guys remember this? Like a couple years ago, I guess he posted some allegedly anti-Semitic. He reposted like a documentary or a movie that may have been anti-Semitic on Twitter, and then I think he was with the Brooklyn Nets at the time. They suspended him like a couple games, and even then, like it was just like, I mean, like I guess like the mainstream media cared about it, but I think everyday people don't really care about that. You know what I mean? Like I think players will always be political, um, and it's always going to be lose lose when like a team or a business try to discipline players for their political beliefs, basically. Because people that watch the NBA or watch any other sports, they don't really care about the politics. Like, they only care about the product on screen. Um, so yeah, either way, whenever they take a stance, like, you're gonna alienate a part of your fan base. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying Jaden Ivey is crazy right now, which I mean, I don't know, maybe he is. Uh, but people go on rants online all the time. Like, I'm doing that right now. You know what I mean? And just because he's saying like religious stuff and makes him crazy, like, I don't know. That might be taking a bridge too far. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think the way the the NBA and the Bulls have handled it is not a good look, honestly. Um, there were some rumors that he was like confronting his teammates, so I guess like that is detrimental, and I guess that would be a good cause to waive him. You know, what I mean, if he was like harassing his own teammates and just like, hey, you shouldn't do this. You're living your life a way I don't agree with. Blah blah blah. I mean, that's a good cause to waive someone. But if that was the cause, like, they should make that clear. It's because he was badgering his teammates and not because of like his own beliefs and like whatever he ranted on Instagram or TikTok or wherever he was. You know, and the only reason I say that is because it always bites you in the ass at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because people like immediately are like, and it's a good point. People are like, okay, so you're gonna waive him for um, saying some, like, I guess, politically unsavory for the NBA or for the team, but then you just have like convicted criminals that are representing you guys on the court right now. You know what I mean? I'm not passing judgment on those guys, you know what I mean? But it's true. Like, there are people that just, have domestic violence issues. I mean, the NBA, I'm not even gonna name who it was, but like, there's a guy that committed a heinous crime, and people regard him as a god in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, and at the same time be like, oh, we can't have this in the league because of some guy's political beliefs. Like, it's a lose lose. The best way to do it is to just be like, hey, people are allowed to have their own beliefs, and we're gonna keep it at that. And traditionally, I want to say traditionally, the NBA has done a good job. You guys remember Enes Kanter and Daryl Morey? Like, that was way more detrimental to the NBA. Like, you could say what they did was like costing like real money, whereas like um, Kyrie and Jaden Ivey, maybe they would turn off like a small part of a small section of the fan base, but overall, I don't think anybody cares really. Like, I don't even know if people knew about the whole Kyrie thing posting on Twitter until the news broke out that he was suspended for 5 games. I don't even know if people knew about Jaden Ivey going on rants online. Like, he wasn't getting that many followers. He had like 200,000 followers for like a professional basketball player. That's not even a lot of followers, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I know open micers. I mean, they're hot. You know what I'm saying? They have more followers than Jaden Ivey. So now it's like there's a spotlight on it, and people are going to pick sides, and now people that agree with Jaden Ivey politically are like, dude, the NBA sucks. And then the other side are whatever defending it, but like, you only lose viewers. You don't gain viewers when this happens. You know? And I mean, back to the whole Enes Kanter thing. Do you remember what he did like early 2000s? Or during the pandemic? I think it was around that time. I remember he was like outspoken against Turkey. And the NBA was fine. They're like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then he like turned his cause towards China and Nike, and immediately he was cut. But I mean, that's fine. Like, I don't care about cutting people because they're hurting the company or even because of their political beliefs. You just can't say that's the reason you cut them. You know what I mean? Like, the good thing about Enes Kanter is like they didn't say anything about political stuff. I think they're like, he's able to have his own beliefs. They just didn't resign him. You know what I mean? And he was pretty good. I think his last year he only averaged like 3 points, but that's because like he was losing playing time because of the whole China and Nike thing. Because the year before that, I think he was still averaging like I don't know, like double digits point, like maybe 11.7 rebounds, which is kind of serviceable, as a big man in the league. But yeah, I'm just saying like how the NBA handled that situation with Enes Kanter is way better than what they did here. You know what I mean? They just like kind of let him drift off into like retirement, whereas Jaden Ivey, the freaking Bulls, like put out a post on Twitter and say, yeah, we've dropped him because of detrimental conduct. And I don't know, I feel like it's because of his political and religious beliefs, because like all these headlines are saying this is the reason why he was waived. And if it's not, like, I think the Bulls and the NBA should be like very specifically saying that he was badgering his own teammates. You know what I mean? So now we're like, oh, it's because he's being a nuisance, instead of his beliefs that like many people share. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the NBA don't say it, but like share some of these beliefs that he has. And it's I don't. You know what I mean? I think it's a little harsh for people to immediately say that he has mental health problems. Because I don't know. Like, it's like, is it really out of the ordinary? For people to say the things he says. You know what I mean? I feel like if you know enough people in life, I'm not even that old, dude. I'm like in my late 30s, but like I know people like him. I know like people like him that are like religious, or that are like Jaden Ivey. I also know people that are kind of like Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Like, I went to school with these guys. I know these guys in high school and college. Like, I know people that are into like flat earths and have like beliefs that are kind of a little left of the mainstream, and like they're just like regular people. I know people like James Harden, you know what I mean, is all like going to the clubs and stuff. And I mean, these are just regular day people. So like to say that he's crazy is, I feel like it's a little assassination of his character. But who knows? I'm not there. I don't know. I think the NBA has many issues, and like politics is not the thing that's causing them to lose viewers. Like I don't, and that might be like a point of view that no one agrees with, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they should take a stance against this or against that, and then other people are like, nah, they're hurting the product because they're too political and people just want to watch ball. I actually think like the players' political beliefs don't matter at all. Like the fans will, like the certain players will always have fans, like no matter what they say. Two people are still fans of Kanye. Like that's just proof. Kanye basically says like the most unpopular stuff ever, and people still love Kanye. You know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the NBA is going down this route. Do you guys remember Daryl Morey? He like lost hundreds of millions of dollars for the NBA. Do you remember the whole thing with Hong Kong and China? All he did was he's tweeted out, he's like, I stand with Hong Kong, and immediately China pulled all the NBA games for a year. It cost them millions of dollars and cost all the players millions and millions of dollars. You know? So I don't know, dude. It's the NBA do have an issue. I don't think it's because their players are speaking up or being political or have a voice or being controversial. Like their problem is the product on the floor. Like I haven't watched the NBA in many years, and it's not because like Kyrie said something or Jaden Ivey says something or LeBron says something. Like I just watched it because it's not compelling anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what a travel is anymore. Like what is a travel? Like I watched like NBA clips. I was like, dude, that's a travel, and they're like, no, no, actually not. It's a gather step. They do like crazy stuff, like the two steps to the side or to the back to shoot a three. I'm like, that's not a travel anymore. Like it's not. It's certainly not a layup. And that's just like one of many things. You know what I mean? Like I think I've talked about this before with the NBA. Like there's just no. It's very like sanitized. There's no drama. you know like back in the day, there's like must watch TV. There's like the Lakers and Boston Celtics, and I'm not even talking about like Magic Bird and Bird's days. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about that, but I'm talking about like as recent as like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce against the Lakers. Like that was like must see TV. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like people actually cared about the underdogs. I remember like going the year that the Orlando Magic made it to the finals in 2006 or 2007. Dude, I was hooked on the TV. Every game was must watch. They were the underdogs in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were just beating everybody, dude. You know what I mean? There's a confrontation. I remember Rafer Alston like slapped the shit out of Eddie House, and then you see like his headband rotate. I remember that. Like there was just drama. Like they like let players go against each other. But now it's like they're all friends, which is fine. I guess they're always friends before, but like the game itself, like you get teed up for anything. You can't posture on someone after like a dunk. You can't taunt someone after a dunk. Like that stuff like drives like engagement with the fans. Like we like drama. I hate to say it like that. Like sports is kind of like the men's soap opera. You know what I mean? Like now there's I don't even know where James Harden plays, dude. Him and Kevin Durant seem to play for a different team every single year. Like it's so hard to follow. Like it's very hard to root for a player that just like bounce from team to team to team. But I don't know. I don't even know if that's something the NBA could fix. Like I believe in players should be able to play wherever they want, but it's I think like that hurts the product. Like I don't even follow the NBA anymore. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I've followed WNBA the past 2 years more than the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, objectively, like they're less skilled and less athletic, but like the games are more exciting because there's just so many there's so much drama, right? Like the older players like don't like the newer players. They're getting a lot of shine. It's not even just Caitlin Clark, right? Obviously, there's like the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark like beef, I guess, or conflict, right? Or like everybody else kind of hating on Caitlin Clark because she's getting on the shine, but Angel Reese is getting hate too. You know what I mean? Like people, all the other players are saying like, why are they getting all the attention? Like that's also a thing too. Like all the older players like don't like Angel Reese also, and as a result, I just like consume more WNBA content. Like I know more about all these players that I've never heard of before because of basically Caitlin Clark and then like Angel Reese, and then now I know like other players like Kelsey Mitchell on the Fever, Sophie Cunningham on the Fever, and I also watch like other teams. I watch the Sparks, you know, Cameron Brinks, obviously hottie, you know, Kelsey Plum. I've never heard of her. Now I know her. I'm a fan of hers. You know what I mean? Like I'm such a fan that I like bought season tickets for them upcoming year for the WNBA. You know, even though I'm trying to make money and resell it in the resale market. You know, that being said, although the NBA is soft, I did just buy $10,000 worth of stocks at I just bought 10,000 stocks worth of MSGS, which is the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. Like it was as soft as the NBA is. I like a good deal, dude. I like a good deal, and I like to make some money. And it was very compelling. I listened to another podcast that's way better than mine called The Compound. Uh, I didn't. The thing is, I didn't even know the Knicks were publicly traded. I remember looking up publicly traded basketball teams. I didn't know the New York Knicks and the Rangers were publicly traded. I think they have been since 2021. So maybe I was looking it up prior to that. But like I knew like the Atlanta Braves are publicly traded. I know obviously the UFC and WWE are publicly traded as TKO. Um, Manchester United, I know about them. I keep an eye on them. Um, but yeah, I wish I heard this podcast like a couple months ago. I would have got a set like a way better price. But I still think the Knicks are a great investment right now. The market cap today, March 31st, the market cap for both the Knicks and the New York Rangers combined is $7.6 billion for two teams, a hockey team and an NBA team. Total $7.6 billion, and the last time a team was valued, it was the LA Lakers a couple years ago when the Bus family sold the majority stake to whatever their names are. Dude, the it was valued at $10 billion, dude. The Lakers, which is like a dynasty team, but also, the Knicks is kind of like that, right? Like even if you say they're not worth 10 billion, like shouldn't the Knicks by themselves be at least worth $8 billion, just by themselves without the NHL? Um, but yeah, I think yeah, the Lakers are at 10 billion, so the Knicks are at least worth that. But that's not even the biggest thing. The biggest thing is during the podcast, this guy brought up this thing that I didn't even know, which is actually the biggest selling point, is that in 2027, there's a law, um, there's a new law in the IRS that basically says that any publicly traded companies cannot write off more than $1 million for their top 10 paid employees. And guess what? Who do you think the top 10 employees are of a professional sports team? It's athletes. And athletes are making more than $1 million. So I think their new rule says you could write off a maximum of $1 million per employee. Top 10. athletes are making way more than $1 million a year, so they're gonna get hit a lot. They can't write it off. So my guess and the guess of this person on this podcast is saying that the Knicks and the Rangers and probably Atlanta Braves are gonna go private, and if they go private, likely they're gonna get a premium, right? A premium valuation, because right now you could own the Knicks and the Rangers together for $7.6 billion. So if they were gonna take it private, if James Dolan sells it to a private company, he's gonna have to sell it for a premium. You know what I mean? And like if he's probably gonna separate the two of them, um, and I think the Knicks will at least get $10 billion, dude. You know what I mean? Like people love the Knicks when they sucked. In the last couple of years, they've been pretty good. You know, like they go to the playoffs every year. This year, I think they're like the third seed in the East. They're not the favorites to win the whole thing, but they're going to go into playoffs, at least the second round, maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of eyeballs, a lot of fans going to the games, a lot of money. It's they have good stars on their team. It's gonna be to me it feels like it's just easy money, dude. You know, like it's easy money. I could be wrong, but I just spent $10,000, give or take. It's not an insignificant amount of money, you know what I mean? But you know, I think those are about what season tickets would have cost if I got like a two tickets to like the nosebleeds for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like those would have cost me 10K, and even if I flipped those tickets, I don't even know if I would double my money. But I think here I could like double my money in 2027 for the New York Knicks and the Rangers. I don't know how much are. Um, I don't even know when the last time a hockey team NHL was sold. Oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning were sold in 2024 for $1.8 billion. So let's say they're worth that much. I mean, it's 2026, dude. There's inflation. You know, I think probably New York Rangers are probably worth at least $2 billion, right? So right now it's 7.6 billion. So if the Rangers were worth $2 billion, that means the Knicks are worth 5.6 billion. That's a steal there, dude. Dude, the Knicks itself is worth probably more than the $76.6 billion here. So this might be easy money. I think it's easy money, man. I don't know how I could lose, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe James Dolan is going to refuse to sell the Knicks. You know, he does like to have a stranglehold on the on the team, and I know people are the Knicks fans have hated him for years because he's made some bad decisions with GMs and signing all the wrong players. But dude, this James Dolan he might be like a terrible owner for a sports team, but he's a good businessman, you know. So I think at the end of the day, like they're gonna have to take MSG as private to not bleed out all this money in taxes. And if they do that, they're gonna have to give their shareholders a premium. Otherwise, you know, I mean, who would agree to sell it privately if you're gonna not give them a premium? You know what I mean? Like people vote against it. So I'm guessing there's going to be a pretty huge premium. So yeah, I mean, I have a little bit cash left. So if it goes down, I'm gonna buy some more. Um, but yeah, I think this is a good play. Um, but yeah, that being said, dude, the NBA is soft as hell. But I like money, so I just bought $10,000 worth of the New York Knicks and NHL hockey New York Rangers, ticker MSGS. I hope I get rich, dude. I hope the soft NBA will pay off for me, buddy. Dude, I'm a fan of sports. Dude, I support sport. I support the NBA more than anybody else. Objectively, dude. I just bought $10,000 worth of stocks in the New York Knicks, and I bought season tickets for the LA Sparks, dude. There's no bigger fan than me. Top fan, some would say. What else do I have here? Dude, you know what is not soft? The UFC. Did you guys watch the fight over the weekend? My God, it was such a great card. There has been like a narrative going around, I think, amongst like other podcasters, fight podcasts. They're saying the UFC is dying, based on pay per view bias, which is kind of true, you know what I mean? But like, there you can't compare pay per view views to like Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? Like, he's a generational talent. It doesn't mean the UFC is not doing well. You know, they do have stars, but like, you can't expect to have like a Conor McGregor every generation. Like, that guy was, dude, that guy was such a huge star. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like I'm more than a casual fan of UFC, but I'm not saying I'm like a diehard fan. Like, I don't know anybody outside of like mostly the main card. You know what I mean? But they're putting out a great product. This last fight over this past Saturday. It's not even a UFC numbered event. It was just a regular fight night, and I think how many fights? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think all six fights in the main card ended with finish, dude. And like, you could just get this on Paramount Plus. It's crazy. Like, the product is so good. It's not even a UFC number event. Like, the number event would be like a pay per view event. It's not. It's like probably one of the best cards I've ever seen. I've seen probably like this year, and it might and dude, specifically the women's fight. That's how good the card is. Is that the women's fight was actually the best knockout of the night. Like, Alexa Grasso, who I'm a fan of, hottie. Dude, she like knocked out this girl so hard that for a split second I thought the other girl died, dude. She like dropped her, and when she fell out, I guess she didn't know she knocked her out. She like went for a rear naked choke, and this lady was just lying there with her eyes open, dude. She wasn't even moving. It was so fucking scary. But it was a great fight. It might have been like it might be top two knockouts of all time in the women's division. I remember another time Valentina Shevchenko like kicked this girl in the head, and this girl was like having seizures. It looked like, dude, it was crazy. Um, but yeah, I don't think the UFC is dying. I think that's just the narrative people are spinning. Um, they're publicly traded. I don't. It's hard for me to value how much is UFC and WWE together are worth. You know what I mean? Like, they're currently worth $18 billion, and I'm like, maybe that's a good price. I don't know. I remember I missed out. I remember I saw them back maybe a couple years ago when they were valued at $8 billion market cap between UFC and WWE, and I was like, I was trying to be cute with it, right? I was like, nah, maybe I'll buy it if they go down to $5 billion, and that never happened. They never got down to $5 billion. You know what I mean? Like, I was being too greedy. You know what I mean? You know. Sometimes what I should have done was, bought some, and then if it hit my target price, I just buy more, because even at the time I was like, it's probably worth more than $8 billion, but I wanted to make the money. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not gonna make the same mistake with the NBA. You know what I mean? Because objectively, this is a great price. I could be like, oh man, it was only like 4 billion. Right now it's 7.6 billion. It was only 4 billion a couple months ago. Maybe I'll go back down then, and I could even get a bigger gain. But can't get greedy in this game, guys. I was gonna talk about the Iran war and stocks for Fang and stuff, and crypto, BitTensor, Tau, but I think this is good for now. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll save it from next week. But long story short, I think everybody should be buying Fang. I mean, the last couple of days stocks have been going up, even though the Iran war has continued to go on. There are rumors that we're gonna send boots on the ground, which is very scary. But I guess people just don't give a fuck, dude. People, at least today, they're not. They just buying the shit out of the stock market. I think what happens is like the beginning of the week, like the stocks rally, and then at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, they sell off because they don't know what Trump's gonna do, what kind of crazy shit he's gonna say. That will drag us into a bigger conflict. And it's a sell off, and then they're gonna buy back in again. So, I mean, if I get a discount on the Knicks on Friday, I'm gonna try to scrape some money to buy some more. So, but yeah, I'll end it right there. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Peace. Bye bye.